Thank you for joining this session. I'm Hovsep Kirikian. I'm Vice President of Strategy and Operations at USDM. Essentially what that means is that I own solution strategy at USDM. So it's my job to figure out what our customers need and want and what best serves the industry and make sure that we are prepared and ready to deliver that for the organization. Today's session is AI-enabled life sciences from intent to impact, and I'll be talking about the journey between those two processes. We've been around for 25 years, exclusively served the life sciences industry. We've served 900 customers globally. We have 40 technology partnerships. We try to partner with the best of breed technologies, and because we understand that not a single company has all the answers, so we try to partner with the best of breed to bring better solutions to our customers. I wanted to start off a little bit with talking about the state of AI in life sciences, at least from USDM's lens. We all know AI is accelerating in life sciences. The adoption is accelerating. The technology itself is accelerating. But the adoption itself is unevenly accelerating. We've identified essentially 3 stages of the AI journey, going from experimentation to point solutions to embedded AI. Embedded AI is really that nirvana state that most companies are trying to get to. Really AI-enabled organization where the benefits of AI are embedded across multiple workflows, integrated with your people on your data, and supporting your organization, increasing throughput and productivity, efficiency, and consistency throughout the entire org. What we've also seen some companies do is hesitate, be a little paralyzed with the indecision or uncertainty about how to move forward. And really what we're preaching is, the cost of doing nothing, it really compounds over time. And the companies that are moving forward and pushing forward the AI implementations within their organizations are really finding themselves miles ahead against the competitors who are not. Not necessarily answering the question of how do we validate AI, but how do you defend your use of AI when a regulator walks through the door? That is probably the number one question I get asked when we get later in the stage of building out an AI use case or an AI pilot for a customer is, okay, great, this sounds good, we're ready to go ahead, but when the inspector walks through that door, how do I defend this? You have again, vendors that you're bringing on board, you've got IP and data and client data, patient data that you want to protect. You can't afford any data leakage, both from a public trust perspective as well as from a legal perspective. But what you can't do is turn off all AI and expect it to have zero risk. I want to get into a customer case study. So this is a customer that we worked with just recently. We rolled out phase 1 of this, but they are a global CDMO, and they had very common quality challenges. Deviation writing is a scatter process, typically took people off of the manufacturing floor and pull them into data collection processes to be able to pull data from multiple different locations and then draft up their deviation reports. Their SOP interpretation varied site by site. So each site had their own SOPs that were a little different from the policy. They were a little different from each other, and it caused inconsistencies in how each one of those sites operated. And there was zero real-time visibility in terms of tracking KPIs across the various sites. We were the 3rd vendor brought in for exactly this use case. The first vendor basically failed on the implementation, and we ran this concurrently with the 2nd vendor, and it was essentially a bake-off as we were going through. One of the things I want to call out that was a big differentiator in what USDM did versus the other companies was that we built a full knowledge graph end-to-end manually. We pulled in all the customers' quality data across all their sites. We layered in FDA regulations, guidances, recent inspection findings, previous deviations, previous KPI reports. We structured, curated, and connected all of that together and basically built a knowledge graph for the agents that we would then build on top of that, specifically to serve the quality organization. What that actually ended up looking like for this customer is essentially 3 agents. A deviation investigation assistant that was able to pull in all the data necessary for the particular deviation and draft that in the customer's format, leveraging previous deviations and root cause analyses that were already done and approved by their quality, that had already lasted through inspections by partners or from health authorities and agencies. We built out a quality KPI assistant that was able to provide real-time data outputs and KPI readings on how sites were performing against each other, and how they were performing historically. And again, different from a Power BI or a Tableau report, you're actually able to query that data. So you're not limited to the number of reports your IT team or your Tableau system owner built for you. You're actually able to query and build out dashboards in real time. And the third is an SOP assistant consistent. So essentially evaluating SOPs against each other, against the policy, identifying contradictions, making changes to SOPs that will impact others, so identifying what other reference SOPs need to be updated. What we saw is a lot of ROI, a 40% reduction in the deviation cycle time, about a 60% improvement in SOP review efficiency, a 50% increase in productivity and quality in manufacturing as it related to these processes, an estimated 3-year ROI of 900% against the budget of the project, and a payback period of as little of 1.5 months. So what that tells you is we got adoption very, very quickly, and we were able to provide measurable outcomes for this particular customer. Want to quote the VP of Quality for the CDMO, "As a quality leader, I can ask simple questions and immediately understand how each site is performing. The KPI assistant gives me confidence that recurring issues are visible, addressed, and improving." So really, the through line here is that we built out these agents with the outcome in mind, with fast adoption in mind, and luckily we were able to, not luckily, but we were able to deliver that for this particular customer. Why we chose Glean, a number of different reasons in place. Firstly, the primary platform was built originally as enterprise search. The founder of the company is one of the distinguished engineers and pioneers of Google search. Building AI after that has made its entire platform much more reliable and consistent in terms of outputs and how the LLMs perform. Similar to what we did manually for that CDMO and building out that knowledge graph, Glean does that inherently as natively as part of the application. Back on the security side, ISO certifications, HIPAA compliant, GDPR compliant, really from a security perspective, everything was in place to be a suitable system for life sciences. If we did that CDMO's use case, if we did it through Glean, we would have been able to build that in about 1/10 of the time and roughly 1/10 of the cost from a professional services perspective. So the ability to roll that out quickly is really something that we're excited about. So we've been talking about this for a year or so with this customer. We're actually very excited to kick this project off. So this is an AI-driven inspection readiness series of agents completely built on Glean. Time to value on this, we're expecting this to be live in about 4 to 6 weeks post kickoff. And why so fast? They've already implemented Glean. A lot of the data connections are already there.
Perhaps the most important question of all, how do you ensure people actually adopt the AI you build?
Yeah, we want to make sure that organizational change management is embedded at the start of every single project. So like I said earlier, you can build the greatest agent anyone has ever made, but if no one ever uses it, you'll never see the value of it. So we want to make sure that there's buy-in from the stakeholders. We want to make sure that there's a program in place that they understand the buy-in. Anytime you're bringing in a tool, it's very, very similar. You want to communicate the why and the how and what value and what this is going to mean for you, and that's what we're trying to do here at the start of every program. We also want to make sure it's useful. We want to and hit the pain points, so we go spend time to talk to all the stakeholders and the business users at every single level to make sure what's going to be important to them, what's going to be the difference between them using it the first time and using it the 10th time, and the time in between those two intervals. We have a number of different frameworks in place. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Every organization is different. Every business unit within an organization is going to be different, and we want to make sure that it's tailored to optimize that particular project.